I will start with you, Dr. Zareer. Does King Charles have to apologise now for the monarchy's historical links with the slave trade? Were there any?
Of course there were links. There were links across most sort of early capitalism between various companies, between the slave trade. I mean, this was happening across the world. It wasn't just the transatlantic slave trade. So I think if people are going to start apologizing, firstly, you have to ask, does it do any good 300 years later to be apologizing for something that was happening all over the world as a normal part of capitalism? And if we're looking at that, there are many other things that capitalism got wrong. There are many people who were exploited in factories. There was child labor. There were all kinds of rather unsavory things that we might apologize for. But I think that the focus should be on modern slavery, because today, and this includes Africa, more than 9 million people in Africa are in modern slavery. And Africa was the starting point of the slave trade. Many African chieftains after African kingdoms enriched themselves on the slave trade. Okay. So should they be...
I'll come back to you because there's a lot to talk about here. Bushra, I'll bring you in. This, some would say, is a cynical attempt by left-leaning woke mob to cause as much disruption and bad feeling towards the monarchy just before King Charles's coronation. Your views?
You know what? You're always going to get individuals that are going to be thrown against something. I mean, what I'd like to begin by saying is this isn't King Charles saying that the monarchy and the royal family should be apologising for anything. This is a very, very welcomed move, in my opinion. This is about the British public. This is about how the royal family are going to move forward and build that support for them as well.
Move forward, Bushra. It was in the 1600s, Bushra. We've moved forward.
Look, you know, at the end of the day, Patrick, in order to understand where we are at, we have to understand history and then the context of history. We can't go forward into the future without understanding what our history looks like. It's important in any education facility, in informative information that people have to understand why this country is where it is. I certainly welcome it. I think it's absolutely wonderful that King Charles is supporting this research. It is well needed. And you know what? It's precisely at the right time where this conversation is happening.
OK, why is it precisely... Just, Bushra, I was going to stick with you. Why is it precisely at the right time? Sorry, why now?
We are facing probably one of the biggest culture race wars that I've ever seen in the last 10 years. So shouldn't we be focused
on that, Bushra? Shouldn't we be focusing on that? Why are we looking back to something from the 1600s and not sorting out what's happened today, Bushra?
Because there is a lack of acknowledgement. There are huge links to the transatlantic slavery trade in this country. Especially when we look at the Commonwealth. Look at the Commonwealth. This is something that the royal family genuinely believe. They are not saying we're apologising. They're saying that we are supporting our country. This is what we'd like to do. So so why people are raising contention with this is absolutely ridiculous.
Dr. Zareer, has there not been acknowledgement very recently from both King Charles and Prince William? And actually, is the Commonwealth now something that is founded on racism and on slavery? And do the people of the Commonwealth themselves, do you think, actually desperately want some acknowledgement from our current monarch?
No, not at all. I think the British monarchy led the campaign for abolition of transatlantic slavery, so they should be very proud of that. I don't think they have anything to apologise for. I think the Commonwealth is very much a democratic association based on most countries having parliamentary institutions which Britain founded for them. And I really don't recognise where is this race war that Bushra is talking about. Britain is the most culturally assimilated, integrated, tolerant society in the world, which is why immigrants from all over the world want to come here. There's no race war going on.
Bushra, come back to that then, because from a lot of people, Britain is being plunged into fabricated cesspit-like chaos and disasters are springing around us that don't exist. And if aliens looked at us from the outside and listened to a lot of people who read a lot of articles in The Guardian and write a lot of articles in The Guardian, they would think that we were an absolute hellhole. But Bushra, we're not really, are we? And we did do a lot to stop the slave trade.
look, my position on this is the fact that the UK is one of the greatest places to live. And I'm not saying that, we are directly in a battle of races. I'm saying that these conversations, they exist. We have conversations about racism. We have conversations about ideologies and culture. These things are very, very apparent. This is about the royal family. Let's not sort of veer away from that. The royal family still need to drum up a lot of support.
Okay.
With the Harry and Meghan situation, that clouded the entire royal family. They have to build support again. And understanding and supporting this research is going to do that for them. So it's a very good move on King Charles's part.